Alright, y'all, I picked up this '05 limited Sequoia for a pretty decent price, but you know, I want to upgrade it and get some of the luxuries that you can get in newer vehicles. So I've got the whole inside torn out, I'm running some lines. There's lots of videos out there about replacing your head units and how to take all this stuff out, and I've already taken out the door panels and put new speakers in there, etc. But I thought that there was a little bit missing from a few things, like the backup camera, and also if you're putting in a new head unit, there's a wire called illumination, which dims your head unit on your new wiring harness. It's this orange one here, and let's see, orange one here. Sorry, I'm new at this, guys. So anyway, you'll have that on your harness. You can just not hook it up, but I like having things work correctly. So here's the backup camera again. I got this backup camera on Amazon, and there's lots of videos on how to install these. I drilled a little hole in behind here and then ran the wires. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull this panel off so I can show everyone. So, pulled off the back panel on the tailgate or lift gate, and this here is the wire that runs to the camera. And back up in here, and then it's probably hard to appreciate, but there's the connections to your power and your backup camera. Now with the Sequoia, one of the things that you got to worry about is this window rolls up and down. So when you're doing this, you got to make sure that you run the wires. So I have the wires from the backup camera back against the back of the tailgate, and then those run on the other side of the track. Actually, the track, this looks like the track right here, but that's not the track. The window actually goes all the way. I don't know if you can see this, but it's probably hard to appreciate. But if you have this open and you're in this spot, you'll figure it out. So I have those wires running around that track, and you might even want to roll your window down and up a few times just to kind of get a feel for where you ought to put stuff. And you can see that I've got it running back to that the driver's side tail light that's on there. It's got your backup light, and incidentally it also has just a running light for when you turn on your headlights. Now I'm gonna go take off this off the light. It's pretty obvious how this light comes off. I've already loosened these little nuts that are on the back, and I'll take those off. And let me just set these down on the side, and then you just kind of lift this up and pull it out, and you can see all this wiring in here. Let me get that position now so I can... Now, it's a lot easier to unhook the actual light to see the wiring, so I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so I unclipped that plug. Let me just flip this over. You can kind of see how this track here, how I have the wires that go into the car coming underneath the backside of that. Let me see if I can slide this out of the way without it falling. Okay, there we go. So, let's see here. Tough to see, isn't it? Alright, so you can kind of see the wires are coming through the back. There's my fingers of the inside of the tailgate, and they come along the inside of this one and up around this track, so that there leaves a space where the leaves a space here where the window can come down. Now what I got going on here is I've tapped into, this is your backup light, so I've tapped into that, and then that has the red wire then that goes into your backup camera. And then what I did here is to do the illumination. I read online to try and figure out, well, you know, how can I have that work? And it happened to just in this same tail light, you have a light that comes on when you turn your running lights on that does not also work as a brake, because I don't think you'd probably want your camera or your stereo to dim every single time you step on the brake. So so I tapped into that in the same way, and I actually just used these pinch connectors. I tested them first to make sure, and then put electrical tape around them. One of them I did do a little bit of soldering on just to make sure I had a good connection. Sweet, so that's kind of that setup. And then, as you can see, then those wires come from up there and kind of snake down, leaving room for the window to be able to roll down. And then I have them coming up here, and then they go, you know, up the side brace. You can just pop all this stuff off really easily. Another little trick here that with the Sequoia, and probably would work with some other vehicle types, is getting through these little rubber tubes. You don't want to have a wire hanging out. You want it to, you know, look professional and go down through these, and you don't want to be poking holes in them, even though it might be tempting to, you know, poke a hole in that. But what you can do, I'll just give you a hint, when you are snaking through those, is when you put your you know, your snake wire through there, throw some of this silicone spray on there. Oh my God, I mean, it makes all the difference in the world of sliding those wires through there. You can just spray some, you know, on a towel and just run it down the wire, and you will be amazed at how quickly it'll actually slide through there. So anyway, I come down through the side panel, and then just I'm running, you know, down through here, and then all along the underneath part. Let me come over here, and then I just have it, you know, all this side trim stuff just pops off, and you can easily just snake this stuff underneath here. And then I actually have it going, ran it underneath the carpet, and I have it popping out right over here. You can see the yellow wire there that's popping up under where the console goes. And then you can just run all that under your console and up here. So there's the yellow wire and the backup camera wire coming out there. We'll hook that stuff up, and we'll see if when I turn on the lights, if the head unit dims for me, and we'll see if the backup camera works and all that. Hopefully it does. I'm still waiting on some other wires. Some of you guys probably have gotten into this JBL, non-JBL wiring harness garbage that, you know, Toyota makes awesome stuff, JBL makes awesome stuff. You put the two of them together, you know, it sounds pretty good. But boy, trying to work around their stuff makes for a lot of difficulties in the Sequoia, and I'm sure the other Toyota products that do that. So anyway, that's that. Alright guys, I just wanted to do a quick update of the 2005 Sequoia modernization plan, and we're still working on the stereo system here. We've got a 4-gauge wire now going to the battery and hooking up to our 100 amp fuse block that goes down in through that little grommet there that the main wire goes in. It's nice that if you need to get in, you can fit a 4-gauge wire through that. It's already there. There's just a little nipple on the top of it. You just cut it off, and you can just slide that right through. Works great using that technique that I talked about with the silicone. Now we'll jump in here So we're doing this new JVC big screen head unit, and so we got all the wires going down underneath for that, down to a Kappa 4 amplifier, and then you can see I ran the, oh yeah, I suppose I should show you that. So right up under there is where that, I don't know if you can see up there, there we go. That's where our 4-gauge wire comes out under that kick panel, and then we just run it along underneath the carpet here, and then you can just push up under the carpet underneath the driver's seat, and oops, that'll get your attention. And then we've got a splitter there, you know, and that power wire then is going to that Kappa 4 I just talked about, running those the 4 new speakers that I put in the front, the Morel 602s in the front, and then some other Morels back there. I'll put links to all this stuff in the description. They sound pretty good. I started it up and tried it. And then I've got some blanks here because I'm going to put in a JBL subwoofer, and I need to get all this worked out before I can get the subwoofer put in. I ordered one of those subwoofers that fits in the back of these Sequoias in that back compartment area there. So I'm starting to run the wire back to that. Here's the JL Audio amp, and this is kind of cool. See, I was able to fit that Kappa 4 underneath where the old JBL amplifier was, and then inside this is the luxury version of the Toyota, so you know, it had the DVD player in here, and there's all this junk getting in the way, so I thought, you know, well, who watches DVDs anymore in their car? Maybe people with little kids or something, but so I cut all that out of there with a all-purpose tool, and kind of cleaned it up with a rotary instrument. And then this actually will fit down in the bottom of here, and it will cover up all the holes that were left under the bottom, and I'll just feed the wires up in there, and then I'll just get some little basket or something to stick over the top of it, so when the wife is throwing stuff in there, it won't sit right on top of the amplifier, and that'll just slide right on top of there. I'll feed those wires up, and all of my amplifiers are hidden, and they're not in the seats, under the seats getting in the way. Pretty sweet deal. And now I'm just kind of cleaning up. I'm in the process of cleaning up all my wires here, just trying to feed these around. In order to get this cap in here, you do have to move some of these stock wires, so yeah, I had to break this little plastic piece off here, and I just kind of covered it with some tube and routed it around this, and anyway, I fit it all on there to make sure that it would go. So anyway, that's where we are right now. I'm about ready to take the head unit back off again. I was just in test phase just to make sure the backup camera worked, and my dimmer switch did work, so I'll show an example of that. It's in the last video, so I was pretty stoked about that. And yeah, so anyway, it's coming along. Been a fun project. It's taken a lot of time. Don't try and do this in a day.